So step one is please systemize your operations. You want to build the container, my friends, before you fill it. And what I mean is get everything out of your head. Because if you don't, you'll end up being the CQA, the chief question answer, and
Mm.
not the CEO. It's exhausting.
You didn't start your practice to barely hang on. I'll guess you started it for freedom, impact, and profit. This is Therapy for Your Money. I'm your host, Julie Harris. I'm an accountant, author of Profit First for Therapists, and CEO of Green Oak Accounting. Over the years, my team and I have partnered with hundreds of private practice owners, whether they're just getting started, scaling into thriving groups, or even preparing to sell. We've seen it all, and we know exactly what makes a practice tick financially. On Therapy for Your Money, I'll help you build a business that truly works for you. You'll get quick, actionable tips and episodes so that you can grow a profitable practice, increase your financial confidence, and pay yourself unapologetically. Because your work is way too important for you to burn out or go broke doing it. Love the podcast? Make sure to follow and give us a 5-star review. Here is Therapy for Your Money. Hello and welcome to Therapy for Your Money. Today I'm joined by the one and only Nicole McCance. Nicole is a well-known business coach. You've probably heard of her before, but just in case you have not, Nicole, welcome. Would love for you to
So,
tell us about who you are.
oh my gosh, I'm so happy to be back. I think this is round 3, Julie.
Yes,
Oh my gosh, right?
you are one of the most frequent flyers on the podcast.
Yay, this is
Yeah.
my cameo, third cameo. So I am a retired psychologist turned business coach. And every time I say that, I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it all happened.
How did it happen? Right? Yeah.
Yeah. So, like most people listening, I was a therapist for 15 years doing couples and EMDR. And I just became really sick of hitting the ceiling in my income. And then when I became pregnant with twins, I just knew, oh my gosh, I don't know how I'm going to do all of this. And that's when actually it took me 2 years to take the first step. And I wonder if someone relates to that who's listening, where it's like, I know I want to do this, but I'm terrified to make the wrong step. So I'm
Mm-hmm.
making no step. And my babies were 2 when I finally said I have to scale. And in 3 years, I grew to 55 therapists, way faster than I expected. And it was revenue generating. So a psychiatrist approached me to buy it. At first, I said no. Then I said yes. And when I did that, it was a bit of a whirlwind. I said, wait, now that I'm retired as a psychologist, the rest of my life will be helping my peers do the same thing if they want it.
I love that. Yeah, because you're very young. You still have like plenty of years ahead of you. So there was probably that shift of what am I going to do? Right. Like identity shift, right?
100%.
Yeah.
And because I'm a helper, I was like, oh, yay, I get to help my peers now. That's fun.
Love that. I love that. So today we are talking about how to scale a 7-figure practice. Obviously, you went to 55 clinicians. That's usually multiple millions of dollars in revenue per year. So tell us, like, what's the secret if you had to do it all over again, or how do you coach
Yeah.
other therapists to do that?
I really put together a 5-step scaling method because there is a right way and a wrong way. And people listening probably have fumbled like I did. I made a lot of mistakes, and here it is. So step 1, I'll go through them itty bitty and then we can dig into anyone or
Yeah,
ask me
that
any
sounds good.
questions.
Perfect.
Yeah. So step 1 is please systemize your operations. You want to build the container, my friends, before you fill it. And what I mean is get everything out of your head. Because if you don't, you'll end up being the CQA, the chief question answer, and
Mm,
not the CEO. It's exhausting. People skip this step, Julie, because it's kind of boring.
yeah,
And before ChatGPT, I wrote my manuals. Like that was a thing back in the day, right?
yeah.
And it is the most important step. It helped me sell. It's one of those things where if you do it now, later, not only will you have less questions, but it's going to give you the freedom you want because all the systems are in place. So I'm talking manuals. I'm talking systems for everything, even hiring. How do you train? How do you onboard? How do you offboard? And this is
Mhm.
why in my program, I actually give people all the things because a lot of people don't want to do it. But please don't skip this step.
Yeah. So is there ever a time that's too soon to systematize?
No. I don't think so at
Yeah.
all. No.
Yeah.
I will say the best time was yesterday, but I will say today, it's so easy now with Loom. So as long as you're in privacy mode, if you're in your EHR, do record it while you're doing it, because people say, "I don't have time, Nicole. I don't have 5 hours to sit down and do a manual." But if you start, how do I respond to a new client? How do I share my billing? Just start recording it all and then transcribing it.
Yeah, yeah. And even when you have a one person practice, right? Like you innately know everything that's going
Yes.
on, but for that very first hire, like if you're ever planning to hire, you still need just them to know what to do. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes, and I'm a bit of a control freak between us that
What?
yeah, I wanted my word, so I wrote the email template. It needed to be it's my brand, my reputation. I went to
Mhm.
school way too long, so that actually felt good that, like, you're gonna cut and paste, but these are my words.
Yeah. And probably a script for the phone, right? So all
Totally.
of the different things like because you know it works. So we're not testing things out with someone new. You're using something tried and true.
Yes, that's number
Okay.
1. So
Okay.
then step 2, here's the fun part and the scary part. This is where you build your team. I learned the hard way. I feel like your very first hire should be a mini me. And the reason is when you're only one person, you're the brand, your clients are used to you. And
Yeah.
so a mini me is similar to you in personality, energy, modality, and demographic. I moved to Russia when I was 27. You heard this story because you heard my talk, but and I moved 30 clients to a person who was my opposite. She was very clinical. I'm high energy. She was like a calmer energy, not just
Not
different,
good or
not
bad,
bad.
just different.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah, yeah,
And I'm pretty sure, Julie, they were cursing me under their breath because I think they were like, "What is happening? Nicole moved me to this person that is completely different than what I'm used to. There's a totally different vibe." And as a result, no one stayed. So
yeah.
to increase your retention, have your first hire be a mini me.
So the first time I heard you say that, I remember just having my mind blown because I think so often, and I didn't even realize this until you said it out loud, is so often a practice owner will bring someone in that's complimentary, not because it feels less scary, right? Like they're not replacing me. We will complement each other, right? But if you're really, really similar, it can feel like you're a little bit in competition almost, right?
Right.
But that's a really great point where if you're bringing someone in and then you're wanting to then refer clients who have been attracted to you, even if you're keeping your clients, but then any new clients are going to them, like that's a very different situation. Love
Yes.
that. I love the way that you put that your mini me. So like how do you find someone who's exactly like you?
You're going to add it to your love letter. Now, what's your love letter? It's your job posting. I
Mm,
treat a job posting truly like a love letter. You want to stand out. If you scroll through Indeed, most people start with the boring stuff. You actually want this love letter to be a hook. At the beginning of the love letter, you want to be talking about all the things that you get. But like when you work here at this group practice, you get an office with a window and supervision and benefits and free parking in the back. A lot of people skip that step. But the best part about your mini me is the moment you meet them, you will know it's their mini me because you will like them. Because the truth is, we like people who are like us. That's why we make our partners. We try our best to make them like us, right? That's the
yeah.
truth.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. So look for someone like you. Okay. Step 3.
Step 3, this is where we attract clients with digital marketing. I love digital marketing because I didn't have time. I had 2 new babies. I was a brand new mom. There's all the digital marketing you can do, but right now what's really working, obviously we're in the AI era. So it's the long game, but I would lean into things like SEO. And what matters right now more than ever is natural language on your website, which honestly is really hard for therapists. I believe there's a problem and it's called we're too smart.
Mm,
We went to school for way too like, we're not the norm. I think we think we're the norm because we hang out with each other. But the language we use is not typically what people are asking their bot about. So I want people to go back to their website and really think about simple grade 4, like literally grade 4
mhm.
language converts the most. And more leaning into like FAQs. What would somebody be putting into their pet bot, because we all have a little bot that we talk to, and then write about that, but put it as questions and answers, and you will show up.
Yeah, and everything in marketing is changing right now. It feels like what was true 3 years
Yes.
ago, like, just it no longer necessarily applies. But one thing I have noticed, I'm curious your take on this, is when you go to a lot of a clinician's websites, whether it's a solo practice or group practice, a lot of times it will be about them, like where they went to school, what they studied. And like I've never been, up at 2 a.m. with a problem thinking I need to find a doctor or a therapist or whatever who went to this school and studied like I because I don't know that field, right? I'm not looking for a specific field of study.
Yeah.
Like at this point in my career, I know what EMDR is, right? But like as a lay person, if I was gonna ask my spouse or my children, like, what is EMDR? They don't know if they need that, right? Like they
Yes.
so it's a lot about like the modality or the specifics about a clinician, but not necessarily about like what can
Oh
you
my
help me
gosh.
with?
Talk about their problem at the very top
Yeah,
above the fold, which is like where they land. Talk about their problem. I want to know that you know me. Please don't talk about yourself first. Actually, don't even talk about yourself at all. Your mission, your vision, they don't care. I wouldn't put that on the main page. Maybe if you want on the About Us page, but don't use that real estate on the main page.
yeah, yeah. So to like what are some of your digital marketing tips like to attract an ideal client? What are some of the things that you recommend to in your coaching program?
I have a digital marketing expert, and right now we have the best of the best. I'm kind of obsessed with the people who are truly the best in our field. But the other piece is who know our world. We're
Yeah.
so highly regulated. There's so much we're actually not allowed to do. What's working really now right now is listings. So putting yourself on the most well-known Google business. We've all heard that one already. But have you heard of Bing Places? Have you heard of Apple Maps or Yellow Pages? Now you're probably thinking, did you just say Yellow Pages?
Yellow
Yes.
pages?
Yes. So ChatGPT is pulling from listings. Actually, to say it another way, what matters right now in this AI era is that ChatGPT knows that you are a credible person because apparently
Mm,
there's so many like fake websites out there. So if you can easily put your location on all of these maps, you're more likely to be pulled by ChatGPT right now. Truly
oh,
because they
interesting.
they see that you're everywhere and that like you're an actual, yeah,
Okay.
legitimate credible person.
So does that make it much harder for virtual practices then at this point in time?
It is harder to be virtual for a couple of it's harder and it's easier. So it's harder to be virtual because you can't leverage off of local with Google, and Google loves local, and people search local. Like,
Mhm.
I know we went through that, remember that thing called COVID, but we've really bounced back in a big
Yes.
way. But then to profit first, you're actually way more profitable typically if you're virtual because you're not paying for the bricks and the mortar and like the,
Sure.
all the things. So there's pros and cons. If you're going to work with me, I probably will talk you into getting at least one office one day. So, because people just want in person.
Yeah. It's
Number four,
still yes, number 4. Let's go.
step number four. So, here's the thing, I've brought in the people, but now step number four is convert with consult calls. They haven't been converted, they're just attracted to me. A lot of people miss this step. They're obsessed with the marketing. So, are you offering consult calls and are they bookable online? Here's why that matters. Did you know that most people, well, were you listening at my talk? Let's see. When do
Yep.
most people book therapy?
2 a.m.
After 7 p.m. You got it.
or after
Exactly.
7 p.m. Okay.
After set, like, and when does your admin go home? Right? Usually it's
Not
just not
yeah,
working that
after
too good.
before 7 p.m. usually or right
Yeah.
around that time. Yeah.
So that is a big bottleneck. What if your marketing is working, but it's a business problem, not a marketing problem because you're not allowing consult calls that are bookable online. Let them book themselves. Let them get that dopamine hit immediately. Did you also know that if someone books their own consult call, they're more likely to show up as opposed to
Oh,
the admin
interesting.
booking it? Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I also do know we're recording this in 2026. Like we all expect we're in the everything to be instantaneous, right? With Amazon Prime and Instacart, like you can get something if you need something, you can get it
Yes.
to your door today. And
Yes.
so no one wants to wait multiple days right now to hear back from
Exactly.
you, right? And so
Yes.
getting like usually the person who answers first is going to be the one to actually get the client.
You got it. And so even though the therapy is not booked, I have a consult call, help is on the way, and
Yes.
then they go to
Yeah.
bed.
And you
Yeah.
can kinda check it off your mental list at least, right? Like, I have done something about
Yes.
this and I'm good for today. Yeah.
Exactly. Now
Yeah.
that consult call should be 20 minutes long and not 15. And I'm getting people now know this when they hear 20 minutes, they're like, "Oh, are you working with Nicole McCance?" Now, the reason is you need 5 minutes at the end to convert. And here's the 3 things you want to do to convert. 1, get their credit card. If you're in network, I would love for you to be private pay one day. Let's talk. Get their credit card with their consent so you don't have to waste that time during the paid session. 2, verbally make sure they understand your 48-hour cancellation policy. And then lastly, this is the most important, book 4 to 6 sessions. That's only half the treatment plan depending on your
Mhm.
modality. Get them booked in. They can cancel, but they're like committing at least. And then they're more likely to show up, so you need that 5 minutes to do those.
Got it. Okay. And in 4 to 6 sessions, you I feel like I've heard you expand on this, but this is because, like, it's not just we're not just testing the waters, like, we're committing to this, right? We're gonna keep your spot. This is going to be your time
Yes.
for the foreseeable future, right? Until you as long as you need it. And so that also increases show up rates?
It increases retention. So I had this amazing therapist on my team, but she just never pre-booked. And so her calendar was completely empty the week after. She
Wow.
started on the consult calls booking. I find 4 to 6 is a sweet spot because it's not like a full treatment plan. I just met you. That seems like a lot, but it's like, let's book our first month weekly because weekly works, in the beginning until you're feeling better. You get a lot of yeses, and then it's already in their calendar. They've worked their life around it. The no-show rate goes down and retention goes up.
Got it. Okay. Wonderful.
Yeah. Last but not least, step 5. This is where we want to retain clients with follow-ups. Have them coming in. And by follow-up, I mean when they no-show or cancel or just stop coming, they went on vacation, we were doing great work. Do you email? Do you call? I think unfortunately we've been brainwashed in our industry, like do not solicit. But many times my members will get a response from that client that says, "Thank you so much." It's like they care. You noticed. You noticed that I dropped off. You held me accountable. You're the only one in my life that notices.
Yeah. Well, and the longer you go also without reaching back out, right? Like there's probably some guilt going, like a seed of guilt in their own heart
Yeah.
of like, well, it's been so long. Should I even reach out at this point? Will we be starting from zero? So to have that
Yes.
olive branch of like, hey, I'm still here. Like, I want to keep doing this. Let's go. It feels probably easier than them having to initiate, right?
100%. And group practices, you're not doing this, it's your admin. They're also following up with those that don't book off the consult call. So you're following up with 4 different places, you have a tracking sheet, and your admin, it's like just background music for you. It's just happening.
Yeah, and you just are overseeing that the things are happening, right? Okay.
Trust but verify. Yeah.
So we've talked about the 5-step framework, but at what point, I'm gonna go in a slightly different direction. At what point as the owner, do you kind of remove yourself? Like how do you remove yourself step by step?
Really good question. What I did is I saw clients to pay for my life personally. Okay. And then everything that came from the group practice, I fed it back into the group practice. I had control over that. So I'm like, I know how many clients I need to see to pay for the kids and mine and Dan's life. And then it was a snowball effect where I would make some money and I would feed it back into Google Ads. And of course, I'm investing in revenue generating things. And I created a fast growing snowball. But then one day, the group practice, there was more money, there was surplus. And I'm like, ooh, and then that was the equivalent amount of clients I reduced. So I was like, okay, I've got a bit of extra cash. I can drop some extra clients. And then slowly I let go of clients, but I was still supervising. So I still had a sense of what was happening.
Yes. And did you stair step reducing your clients?
Yes,
Okay.
which is that was the hardest part just identity-wise. It was really, really hard. It was about like a 2-year process.
Okay.
Some of them,
Okay.
yeah, did not wanna
Yeah.
leave.
But honestly, from having seen this on the accounting side, right? It's when an owner wants to go from maybe 20 clients a week to zero, that's financially very difficult for the practice, right? That means that there need to be always enough people in the practice that are generating enough revenue that you can then replace your income, which is not necessarily a guarantee, right? If someone were to leave, like things can happen. So to kind of slowly shift that down can be really helpful versus all at once.
That's a really good question because I think people are like, "Oh, great, I'll start a group practice and let everything go." I loved having control over my schedule, so I kept clients for a long time, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Nicole, thank you so much. This 5-step framework is phenomenal. You are just one of the really well known coaches in this space at this point, and you have a very loyal following. The people who work with you love working with you and really get results. So, if anyone is interested in working with you, what's the best place for them to find you?
If you like podcasts, which I'm guessing you might,
Yeah.
I have a podcast called The Business Savvy Therapist. And also, I have a free masterclass. If you want to actually hang out live, I'll answer your questions. It's called How to Build a 7-Figure Group Practice. And I go into the nitty gritty of the 5-step scaling method.
Perfect. Amazing. Well, thank you so much for coming on today. We'll put that information in the show notes as well. And maybe we'll see you soon for a fourth visit on Therapy for Your
Fourth
Money.
cameo. Can't wait.
Yeah. That's it for today's episode of Therapy for Your Money. Catch us on Instagram and Facebook at Therapy for Your Money Podcast. And don't forget to subscribe to Green Oak Accounting on YouTube. Until next time.
The information contained in this podcast represents the host and guest's general opinions and should not be construed as personalized accounting and tax advice. Listeners should consider all facts and circumstances before applying this information and seek appropriate advice from an accountant, financial planner, lawyer, or other professional. Any info provided does not constitute accounting, tax, or legal advice.